So who is currently running the country? At the close of the Biden administration, it looks like it's finally being exposed that it's been a group of deep state DEI liberals. Huge hat tip to Melissa Holman on X. I'm going to be quoting from her article. According to her article from the Daily Mail, The Cover-Up, the White House intentionally hid from the public Joe Biden's rapidly diminished capacity. She refers to this as a bombshell report. I personally think only liberals would find this a bombshell. The article continues, a well-connected Democrat strategist confirmed to Daily Mail that the majority of Biden's executive power is concentrated by people who are not external facing, including his close advisors, Bruce Reed, Steve Ricchetti, and Mike Donnellan. Unless you are plugged into daily politics, you're probably thinking, who the heck are these three guys? Right? The article continues, for years, Biden's lower-level staff have griped that the behind-the-scenes triumvirate, known as the Biden Whisperers, have had an outside influence over the president. And for the rest of us, you don't say. The article hysterically concludes, as his presidency comes to an end, many in Washington agree that it has been hard to tell who is actually in charge of running the country. Yikes! Again, I personally think only liberals are going to find any of this a bombshell. For those of us who have been paying attention, this is what we saw.
During opening speeches, the leader of the free world was caught dozing off. And while making small talk with the Duchess of Cornwall at the COP26 summit, Sleepy Joe produced his own emissions right in front of royalty.
Joe Biden apparently broke wind in front of Camilla Parker Bowles. That's got to be the end of his presidency, surely.
Camilla's reportedly described the incident as long, loud and impossible to ignore. It's not the first time Biden's had a bungle. His first presidential press conference in March was somewhat puzzling.
If it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to... Anyway. We're going to get a lot done.
Not even a binder of notes could help America's commander-in-chief get back on track.
Hang on. Sorry. Oh. Sing me, Miss Kim.
And during the historic AUKUS announcement in September, Biden struggled to remember who he was partnering with.
I want to thank that fellow down under. Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate it, Mr. Prime Minister.
It was the US president coming in for a hard landing. The 80-year-old scooped up by naval and security officers, Joe Biden back on his feet, pointing at the culprit, a sandbag on stage. Quickly given the all clear by a White House spokesperson.
Mr. President!
The image not helping America's oldest ever president as he ramps up for a second term.
This is not good. It's not anything that the White House or his campaign wants.
The online pylon to be expected. What wasn't? This from his fiercest critic.
He actually fell down? Well, I hope he wasn't hurt.
And this isn't the first for Biden, who spent much of this term defending his record against claims he's too old for another tilt. If he runs, wins, and serves a full term, Joe Biden will be 86 years old when he leaves office.
Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. Give me a look, though, okay?
And for the U.S. President Biden, can you hear me? You can? Yes, good. And so...
You know, the rapidly rising I don't know. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him...
Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate
It's great to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Don't go anywhere. It's a very exciting day around here. We'll have reaction and analysis to everything we just heard.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
And for those liberals out there who have only been getting their news from the mainstream media, it wasn't until they saw this.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare, what I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. It's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
Again, this is what the rest of us have been seeing for 4 years.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
If you're a liberal, you now know the guy you elected is not in charge of anything. He is not calling the shots. And yet he still commands the largest economy and the largest military in the world. This is not okay. And who makes up this triumvirate of Biden whisperers? For many of us who don't follow politics that closely, who is running the country? Bruce Reed, Steve Ricchetti, and Mike Donnellan. Who are these guys? These three old white guys are deep staters with a long history of being Washington insiders with ties to both Clinton and Obama. It's difficult to find a lot of video on these guys. The video exists, but most of their stuff is buried. I had to do some serious digging just to find old tape on these guys. They are clearly not out in front. They are not the public face. It's very difficult to hold people accountable if you don't know who they are. Yep, that seems to be the point. This also shows us that the whole DEI movement is bullshit. It's all designed to divide, weaken, and control us. Because this is the true face of the DEI diversity movement. Three old white guys. Well, another way to look at it is if you're waking up now and you're unhappy with the state of the nation, you at least now know three guys who most likely had a hand in it. You could thank them. We are supposed to be a government of the people and by the people. You know, the consent of the governed. But it's impossible to hold anyone accountable if we don't know who's running the country. It's difficult for me to fathom anyone that's okay with this. It's not good enough to say that we just had an election, Trump's the president-elect, and these guys will be gone soon anyway. According to my calendar, Biden is still the president for another month, and we have no idea who has been or who is running the country. Regardless of your politics, this should not be okay with anyone. The lesson here is you need to get involved and stay involved in order to hold people accountable. We should not allow this to continue for another day. But above all, we should never allow this to happen again. Well, that's it for me today. If I don't see you in the next couple of days, have a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and a most prosperous New Year. If you haven't done so already, please join the channel because it really helps the algorithm. Leave a comment, like, and share. This is the way we wake everyone up. Remember, everyone wakes up at their own pace, and you are not alone. It's our job to help and educate as many people as possible. God bless America, God bless this podcast, and God bless you. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. Stay frosty, my friends. The Biden whisperers. Who the heck are these three guys? Right?